What's going on, Sip? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Sip, Smoke, and Share with Ronnie. Hey, I have a question as we approach Father's Day. I have a question for my women. And I have a question. This question can be posed to men too. Men and women, what do you tell your daughters about having sex with a man? Do you talk to them about the character of the man that they potentially want to lay down with? And when I say potentially lay down with, the character of the man, will he make a good father? Does he have those characteristics and traits that you want in your child? Or is he going to be a good father or a good leader, good role model for your child or your child, if there was a child, as a result of y'all having unprotected sex? What do you tell your daughters, man? What do you tell women? What do you tell your daughters? You understand? Some of you have baby daddies that aren't worth anything. So what do you tell your daughters about the men that they lay down with? Or do you have this question? And I know some of y'all ain't having this question because some of y'all have perpetuated, big word, perpetuated this, my baby daddy ain't shit. You understand what I'm saying? The mama got a dead baby daddy that ain't shit. And then she turns around and has a daughter that has a baby by another man who ain't shit. And then he a deadbeat dad. And again, on my other video, I'm gonna put the link in the description, I talked about deadbeat dads didn't start out as deadbeat dads. They started out as deadbeat young men. They started out with men with no aspiration, no desires, no goals, no drive, no intent of being a father or being a parent when they lay down with your daughter. So the question is, what do you tell your daughters, or you just remain silent? Because in order to tell your daughter a story, you have to relive some of your painful moments, or you have to be honest with yourself in the sense that I didn't do this or I didn't do that. I didn't ask the right question. I didn't watch, him. I just laid down with him and opened my legs up. And as a result, you became a part of my life as a baby that I had to raise by myself, because I knew your daddy wasn't shit when I got with him. So women, what do you tell your daughters? Men, what do you tell your daughters about men like you, or men that may not be like you? But what do you tell your daughters? Do you tell your daughters, hey daughter, before you lay down with this man, because he could potentially be your child's father? You understand? This man that you're laying down with could potentially be a father. Does he have the maturity to be a dad? Is he gonna be there in the child's life? Does he have a job? Does he have some hopes, some dreams, some desires, some aspirations? Does he have the tenacity and the fortitude? Does he have the intellectual capacity to understand what's going on, or what could potentially happen by us laying down together for this brief time of sexual gratification? See, women don't want to have this conversation because it puts the accountability on them. And then they say, well, it takes two to make a baby. I agree with that, and I understand that, and I very well know that. But at the end of the day, you know the saying, and I said this before, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Right? Because the man can walk away from the child at an instant, and the mama is stuck with the child, if she's a decent mother. And decent mothers, that's a whole nother conversation. So what do you tell your daughters? How do you eliminate or prevent your daughters from becoming a single mother? How do you prevent that? What conversations are you having with them? What do you tell them about men? What kind of questions do you think they should ask? How long should they get to know a fella before they lay down with him? These are just some of the things that I think about, that come across my head. I don't have a daughter, unfortunately. My daughter didn't make it full term. So what do you tell your daughters? I think I would tell my daughters that any man that you lay down with, and this is just me, I would have told my daughter that any man that you lay down with can potentially be a baby, be that child's father. Does he have what it takes to be a father? Is he gonna be around? Is he gonna run and claim, you know, that ain't my child? I don't know who you sleeping with. What kind of man is he? What kind of character? Does he come from a 2-parent household? What kind of man is he? Does he want a child? Is he willing to take care of a child? Is he willing to marry you first? These are the types of questions I would talk to my daughter about. And these are some of the same questions or some of the same things that I told my son, that any woman you lay down with potentially could be a mother of your child. Just think about that. Watch the way she talks, the way she acts. So same thing to the women. Watch the way he talks. Watch how he acts. What does his friend looks like? You know, what are his goals if he has any? What company does he keep? What does he do on a regular basis? So I just want to know. I just thought about it, you know. So I just want to know what do my women have to say about that? Or do y'all just push it up under the rug and just, you know, because it's easy to say, oh, he ain't shit, girl. He ain't shit. Well, guess what? He ain't been shit. He wasn't shit when you met him. You understand what I'm saying? But that little fake ass $100 chain, he posing to be $10,000 chain. You just got so enamored, big word. You were so impressed by it. You was like, oh, he got some money. Nah, what kind of car was he driving? That car and that money, that chain and that money, or that vehicle he was riding in didn't match up. So that's my question for you, ladies. I'd like to hear what you think. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And some of y'all gonna get ahead. You always bashing? No, I just want women to be accountable. I want to hold them accountable. I want to ask the question. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I am. And this is Sip, Smoke, and Share with Ronnie. You know, they always say when they can't find anything else to say, oh, you got goofy glad, blah, blah, blah. So, hey, it is what it is. Sip, sip.